What? It's been an entire week since I've made a Megalith video? Man, I better get my life together. Hey, what's up guys, Radku here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's gonna be another update to Megalith. I don't know why I keep putting these videos out. Like, I just love this deck way too much. I've continued to make my Megalith videos over and over again. Like, I put out 2 of them last week. I just can't get enough of these Megaliths, seriously. I just love this deck. It's a crazy, insane combo deck. It sets up some of the best boards I've seen. Despite how much people trash on it, like, the deck is still amazing. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting things off, I play 3 copies of Megalith Full. This card's your main combo piece, but you don't usually want to hard draw into it. You can do a lot of things if you hard draw into it. But your best hand is going to be like one of your high level Megaliths and 2 of your low level Megaliths, or literally any of your other monsters. So that way you can use your high level as your ritual spell to go into your low level ones, and then usually it's going to be an Ophiel, so you can use it to search a full and then get your full combo off. But full is very, very good. First, you get a ritual back from the graveyard, which is huge in this deck. And it shifts its level based off of the card that you got back, which is actually the most important part of your whole combo, which is crazy. Then it can ritual summon from the deck, which is really, really insane. So the thing is that if you can use your Megalith Ophiel and your Megalith Haggith, or both, or 2 Ophiel or 2 Haggith, you can actually go full combo, and then if you search a full to play with later, you'll actually have a chance to extend into a Hope Harbinger on top of the combo that I'll show you in a second. So, I play 3 copies of Ophiel. Ophiel and Haggith are super abusable. They're not once per turn searches, which is psycho. Like, it literally searches any card in your deck except for itself. Then this card searches your Megalith Unformed, which is a completely busted field spell. Like, seriously, these 2 cards are the most abusable cards in the entire deck and are literally the heart and soul. This card is mainly used for searching your full, because if you can summon this, you basically have full combo. Ha ha ha. But this card is a great searcher for the deck. It helps compensate if you don't have enough high level or low levels in your hand, and it's just really, really good. Then I play 3 copies of Megalith Haggith, of course. Again, this card searches your field or your ritual spell. I don't play the field spell because the field spell is useless, because you actually want rituals in the graveyard. Despite the fact that none of them have graveyard effects, the high level ones actually gain effects if you have more rituals in your graveyard. So this card's actually pretty good. This card, it of course searches your spells, but it also searches your, it also stands as another ritual spell in the deck. You can just tribute it on the field to summon a ritual from your hand, which is really, really good. Then I play 3 copies of Bethor. Bethor is like the best high level one. Like, sure, Aratron has some somewhat nice negates, but Bethor is actually really, really good just because it can do a full board wipe, because at the end of your combo, you'll have a lot of rituals in the graveyard, and I mean a lot. So if you can extend into another Bethor, you'll basically get a board wipe during your opponent's turn if you really want to. This card's just busted. I play 3 copies of Aratron. Aratron is really good just because it's a quick effect, so you can actually ritual summon on your opponent's turn, but it's limited to only be Megalith monsters, but all the Megaliths gain effects when they're summoned, so it's pretty good. Of course, this isn't the best one. Bethor is definitely the best, but this card is still really good and it's a solid 3 of. And then I played 1 copy of Phaleg because I have a terrible memory. So the thing is that Sometimes if I forget whether I've used a Bethor or an Aeratron and I don't care to look in my graveyard because I'm weird, I'll just search a Phaleg last minute and then get a full combo off. Like seriously, all the high level ones are literally just your ritual spells. This is like the perfect ratio to play though. You don't really want to play anymore. You could cut one Aeratron to put in another Phaleg, but I actually like 3 Aeratron just because it actually has a negation effect for that protects your ritual monsters, and since your end board is gonna mostly end on ritual monsters, it's better to have Aeratron. Then I play 1 copy of Awk. This card is how you summon your Magician of Black Chaos Max, and again I'll show you a combo where I end on an Abyss Dweller, Vanity's Ruler, and a Magician of Black Chaos Max. It's so cool. I play 3 copies of Ben 10. This card's great for searching your Vanity's Ruler, on top of the fact that it's searchable with Preparation of Rites and Extra Foolish Burial. So you can consistently get into your Ben 10 to get into your Vanity's Ruler, which just makes all your combos super good. I play 1 copy of Magician of Black Chaos Max. You actually have a way of summoning during your opponent's turn with Awk, so you can actually skip your opponent's turn basically with they can't activate monster effects. Now the big downside of this deck is that it dies to spells and traps. Like sure, like traps are more prevalent this format, but like floodgates are still a crazy thing. This deck it hurts against Nibiru, but it can still play through Nibiru pretty easily. But the big thing that it hurts is like when your opponent is able to Lightning Storm or evenly match you, so it hurts a lot, but you still have other ways of getting around it. But this card's really good just to stop your opponent's monster effects, on top of the fact that you have Vanity's Ruler on your field, which can stop their combo or their summons as well. I play 3 copies of Ash. Ash is just generic, and I actually did have room in the deck. I cut out some unnecessary cards, and like literally if you can draw, like once I actually hard drew into an Ash, and I didn't use it, but I actually used Awk. I drew 1 card and discarded a card. I drew into an Ash, which actually just set up another form of disruption during my opponent's turn, which was really, really good. Of course, I play 1 copy of Vanity's Ruler because we don't have any normal summons in the deck. Now, it might be weird that I'm not playing a Manju or a Senju, but that's more for a budget, or for a different build, because my build revolves around Vanity's Ruler, because you need to get to Vanity's Ruler in order to do anything in the deck, so you need to save your normal summon, which is why I did not play any of my Ritual Searchers. Now, if I were to do this deck in real life, I might play some of the Ritual Searchers, just because they were actually really good ritual fodder. Like, it's funny because half the time I wouldn't normal summon them, but I'd use them as fodder for Ophiel or Full. So if you wanted to, you could cut out the Ash for another copy of Manju or Senju, because they both work the exact same in the deck. Like, see, seriously, I don't know why people care so much about the difference in this deck, because the deck doesn't have any ritual spells. This is a quick play. It can't be searched by Manju. So, like, seriously. You could cut this out for a Manju. I might actually suggest cutting it out for a Manju, but I liked to have another form of disruption, so I played 3 copies of it. I play, of course, Ruler. I already talked about this. I play 1 copy Adamancipator Researcher. This card is literally your main combo piece. Like, even if you hard draw into this, you're still gonna have full combo. Like, you're actually gonna have an easier combo if you hard draw into this, as opposed to if you have to search it. So, like, seriously, this card, you have 1 brick in the deck, and that is Mecha Phantom Beast Colt Wing. But, like, Adamancipator Researcher is just an amazing card for the deck. And I play 1 copy of Discbot 101. I'm actually able to play full combo even if I draw into this, because the deck is just that consistent. If I can make a rank 4 monster, I instantly win the duel. Like, I can set up my full board if I can just make a rank 4, and that is just crazy for a deck. And I, of course, play 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Colt Wing for the Auroradon plays. Plus, this card's just pretty solid. I play 2 copies of Pot of Avarice, so this actually came up a lot and is actually a great way of unbricking your hand. So once I drew into Mecha Phantom Beast Coltwing, and I'm like, ah, dang it, I drew into my 1 brick in the deck. But then I'm like, wait, I have Pot of Avarice in my hand. I went full combo, summoned Megalith full, summoned an Ophiel, and I had quite a few cards in the graveyard at that point, and I actually gained advantage because I sent a Ben 10. So I just used Pot of Avarice, returned the Coltwing that I used for ritual material, and all the rest of the cards got a draw too, and got my Coltwing back in the deck for full combo. I play 3 copies of Megalith Unformed. This card's just busted. Like, it can summon from the deck if by tributing cards that are half the level. So, sure, you can't summon anything with Megalith full, but you can summon full directly from the deck with Ophiel. Or, like, it's just really, this card's insane. Like, you can, mainly you're not going to summon these, but you can if you have, like, 2 of these in your hand, or if you have 2 of these and 1 of these, you can summon any of your big ones from the deck, which is actually kind of cool, but I'm not a big fan of doing that because it just wastes a lot of material. Now, this is one of your main ways of operating under True King of All Calamities, because one big thing is that Virtual World, if you can add out their spell and trap, or if you can add out their trap card, you'll basically be able to stop them. So I actually outed the trap card, and I used Megalith Unformed to summon the Aeratron from the deck by tributing 2 of these and 1 of these. I was able to summon that, and since I couldn't use any effects, I just sat on Aeratron because they weren't able to get around it, because I was able to negate the trap with Aeratron and destroy it, and then they really couldn't beat over it. It was pretty cool. But then this card's just busted. I play 3 copies of Extra Foolish Burial. This card's a decent extender, but I'm thinking about actually cutting it for a Manju, because the thing is that if you hard draw into this, that 4,000 life points puts you at a huge disadvantage. The board is like fairly hard to beat over, but if your opponent has like TTT, Triple Tactics Talent, they can steal your Magician and just get rid of your Ruler, which can actually hurt the deck a lot, and then at that point you put yourself at a disadvantage just to gain a bit of advantage, and that just hurts. So I'm thinking about cutting this. This card's still solid, but eh. I play 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. This card searches every card in the deck except for your big ones, which half the time you don't even need to search your big ones because you'll have Extra Foolish Burial as another extender. And I play 1 copy of Imperial Order because there's ways to actually search this in the deck, but the problem is the combo to search it is convoluted and it's not very consistent. So that is it for the main deck. If you hard draw into Imperial Order, you could do something, but I just decided to play it just as another card. It's a space holder because you actually don't want Upstart. Once I played Upstart and I drew into my Coltwing. That was the saddest Upstart ever. But like, Imperial Order is just a pretty good card. It's searchable, but you shouldn't rely on it because you have other ways of getting around it. I play 3 copies of Herald of the Arclight. This card's busted in this deck. This card, you set up negations on top of the fact that this card gains advantage for you when it's destroyed, because you can search ritual spells or ritual monsters, which you can search literally your entire deck with this card. It's just so busted. I play 1 copy of Crystron Quandax. This card's actually a really good card because you can Synchro Summon into it, and you can Quick Effect Synchro Summon, which doesn't come up a lot, but it's actually decent just to have another Synchro monster to go into that's generic. You'll pretty easily be able to go into this. Like, if your opponent stops your board and you're having issues, you could just go into a Quandax and a Herald of the Arclight and set up a Borreload Savage Dragon with 2 negations, which is actually kind of decent. So just keep that in mind. You can do a lot of things with it, so yeah. I play 1 copy of Borreload Savage Dragon for that play that I talked about, the negation play. I play 2 copies of Elder Entity Natis. So the thing is, you can actually gain advantage by summoning this card. Like, this deck actually summons this card. So the thing is, what you can do is you can summon an Abyss Dweller using 1 Herald you have, and maybe, like one of your heralds, because your combo usually can go into 2 heralds and have a cult wing on the field, so you can overlay the cult wing and the Arclight to go into an Abyss Dweller. Then you can summon Elder Entity Natis, and since your both of your heralds that were on the field got destroyed, you get 2 searches on top of the fact that you can summon Elder Entity Natis, and then you can use its effect to special summon back one of your heralds, so that way you can reuse it, and it's so good. Then what you can do is you can overlay into an Abyss Dweller. You could summon a Gallant Granite. That's why I play 2 copies of it, like if you want to pull off that play. But like seriously, this card's busted. Plus you can send it off of Extra Foolish, and it's pretty good. I play 1 copy of Huckla Fibrax. This card's mandatory for this deck. 1 copy of Auroradon, also very mandatory for this deck. 1 copy of Access Code. This card, I actually go into it a lot. So my end boards usually consist of an Auroradon, a Vanity's Ruler, a Magician of Black Chaos Max, and an Abyss Dweller. So the thing is that if you get that kind of board, usually your opponent is going to want to out your Floodgates first. So they'll out your Vanity's Ruler, and they'll try to out your Magician of Black Chaos Max. And then they'll try to out your Abyss Dweller, because that's the stuff that's hindering them. But then they'll leave your Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon alone, which it will be their fatal mistake, because it's a Link 3 monster. And I think you know where I'm going with this. You can easily use this card to summon another card, then use them both to go into an Access with 5300, get a free pop on the field, and then just stop your opponent completely. I play 2 copies of Gallant Granite. This card's really good just because it can search your Adamantipated Researcher. So the thing is, I play 2 copies of it just in case this card gets negated. So that way you can still do plays, but it's just going to be a bit harder. I play 1 copy of Abyss Dweller because this card's a floodgate that you can set up pretty easily. 1 copy of Hope Harbinger. The thing is that you can set up, again, the combo I'll show you, you can actually set up a Hope Harbinger, an Abyss Dweller, a Magician of Black Chaos, an Auroradon, and a Vanity's Ruler. So that stops your opponent's spells, it stops all their monsters, and it stops their graveyard. So basically you lock them out of playing the game, but it's actually really hard to go into Titanic. So like you're not going to go into this very often, but it is pretty doable in this deck. And then I play 1 copy of Mathmech, whatever it is, because it can actually search your Imperial Order. So like I said earlier, the big problem with this deck is that it dies when your opponent tries to activate spells and traps. So really, this deck can play through traps, but it cannot play through spells, because it can stop literally the biggest trap of this format is Ice Dragon's Prison. Vanity's Ruler stops Ice Dragon's Prison. So really, if you can find a way to search Imperial Order, you'll be set. Because that's why I play this, but this card isn't very good in the deck. Once I accidentally summoned it, and I kind of just went with it, but I wasn't able to do my full combo, so yeah. But yeah, that is it for the deck. Let's go straight into the insane busted combo. Okay, so the file corrupted on the last one for some reason, so I couldn't get it out, but I still do have another combo to show you guys. This one ends a bit differently, but I actually think it's better. I'll show you it when it's done. So, I used Bethor to summon Haggith, used both effects of Bethor and Ben 10. I searched a material just so that I have something later. So I used Full to get back the Haggith, and then I used it to summon an Ophiel. I searched an Aratron Alpha Ophiel, overlaid into Granite, searched a Researcher to summon that, and then I summoned Huckla Fibrax. This next part is one of the most fragile parts of the combo. So you summon Despot 101, then you summon Auroradon. Now right here is the most fragile part, because this is where your opponent's most likely going to Nibiru you, and you need to get around that. So that's what a way to do that would be to summon 101 and to go into a Herald. So on top of the fact that this gives you a negation, is literally a walking macrocosmos, and is like literally just everything you need. If you negate an effect, you actually get a free search off of it. So this card's amazing. So you can summon Colt Wing, use Colt Wing to summon 2. You use the effect of 1-on-1, summon it back to use them both to go into a Herald. Then I activated Megalith Unformed. I misclicked by putting Ben 10, and then I summoned an Ophiel because I discarded an Aeratron. So then I used Ophiel's effect to search a Phaleg. Now this part is where the combo becomes unique. I overlay those two to go into an Abyss Dweller, and I really just did that so I can send the Herald to the graveyard. I didn't really do it for any specific reason other than to ditch the Herald, which I needed one more search, so that was fine. So I searched an Auk. My initial plan was to go into a Magician of Black Chaos Max, but I'll explain my whole combo in a second. So I summoned Elder Entity Natis by ditching those two, and I got a search off a Herald. So I used that to summon back the Herald, which was actually really nice. So I discarded those to summon that. Then I did the same as the beginning, used Hag and Ben to search those. Then I tributed those two, and I got a search off of that. So I use that to summon an Ophiel from deck. Now I actually could have ended my combo here because I forgot that I didn't use Ophiel already. I thought I had already used a tribute effect, so technically this board could have ended differently, but what I did next was actually way better. So I searched a full for follow-up plays, and then I overlaid them all to go into a Prime Math Mech Albertian or whatever it's called. I used them all to search an Imperial Order. I set the order, and then during my opponent's standby phase, boom, they're locked out. They can't summon anything. They can't activate spells. And really, like, what are they gonna do during their turn with traps? So that was an insane lockout play. They really can't do anything. And then follow-up play, I just basically, I was gonna try to summon the Auk to go into the Magician of Black Chaos, but it just turned into an overcomplicated way to get into an access code and OTK your opponent. So yeah, so the combo really just ends here. I easily went into the Imperial Order, the Vanity's Ruler, and the Auroradon, so I could easily put out enough damage to OTK at this point. So I just went into an access code with 5300. I have the backup to do it. Then, since it's your turn, the second turn, you can actually banish 2 of the Link monsters to try to clear your opponent's field, or if push comes to shove, you could just use Unformed, tribute the Magician, summon it, then you can search a, or then you can special summon a, an Ophiel from deck, use Ophiel to, search out a Bethor, and then you could actually just tribute the, then you can tribute it later on to go into Bethor to blow up your opponent's field. But this is still a solid combo. This was my main end board. So this just goes to show that the deck has follow-up plays. It does burn through a lot of resources, but the graveyard was pretty jam-packed, so you could literally board wipe your opponent, or if you wanted, you could use full to get back a Phaleg, summon a Phaleg, and then you could have a Phaleg with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times 300 on top of the 500 is just insane. You would easily be able to OTK with Phaleg. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, let me know what you thought, and let me know if there's anything you would change about all this. But I actually made sure I followed the rules in this combo, so I didn't search any unnecessary stuff and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next Yu-Gi-Oh video. Peace, guys.